Now, fair enough, there was a little bit of clickbait in that. They are not my last scores, they're actually Virat Kohli's. Now, a couple people did cotton on to this and realise that I was doing a little bit of clickbait, but I wanted to do this because I wanted to see how people responded. Now, I think the biggest takeaway from this is that we need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves and a bit more realistic on the scores that we're getting. Now, I'm talking about maybe one of the greatest of all time here, and people have gone on and said, no, you can't be a professional cricket player with this scores. Not consistent enough, not enough. But he's one of the best of all time, and he doesn't get 100 every week. So let's break it down. So just having a look here at his last scores, which are in T20s because it was at the World Cup. If we're saying that 20 plus is okay, decent, he's only done that 4 out of 10 times. Now, these are the best players in the world. If we're looking at me and you playing club cricket or junior cricket or even county cricket, we cannot be expecting to score 50 plus or 100s every single time. If these are the best in the world and they're only doing it, I'll look at the statistics here, but a third of the time, we cannot be expecting to do it every time. And we have to be, as I said before, a little bit kinder and realistic about the scores we're getting. There's only 3 things that can happen when you're batting. You either get done early, you go on a little bit, you nudge around, you get 20, and for whatever reason, you have a rush of blood, you try and attack too early, for whatever reason, you just get out. Or you go on, you cash in and get a decently big score. So if you're looking at the pros and they're only doing that big score 1 out of 3 times. So your Virat Kohli's, your Joe Roots, your Steve Smiths, they're only getting that big score 1 out of 3 times. So again, if you're looking at us club players or even county players, cannot be expecting to get those big scores all of the time. That's the top players doing that. So for us, you just got to enjoy it, understand that you're not going to get a big score every single time, and keep playing. So I'm working on my game all of the time. I'm working on my technique, I'm training really hard, but one of the biggest things this year for me to be more consistent and enjoy batting and not always be worried about the outcome so much has just been my mental side and my mindset. I've said this so many times before, but I'm not a coach. I'm definitely not a mental guru or guru of the game, but working with cricket mentoring has been so helpful this year. As I said before, just being more consistent, enjoying it when I'm out there, just looking around and being, how lucky am I to be batting out in the middle at some beautiful, beautiful grounds. So let me give you an example. One thing that I try and do when there's that long walk off from the pitch to the boundary, then to the changing rooms, I try and leave it on the pitch. I do all my assessments whilst making that big walk. So imagine I've got bowled. Was the ball too good for me? Did it do something that I couldn't control? Was it the right shot? And would I play that shot again? They're all the questions that I try and ask myself. And once I've done that, I just forget about it. I walk into the changing rooms, I'll be happy, thankful I'm there, and that's it. Now, I know this is easier said than done. Everyone is very angry when they get out. I know I certainly am. But if you can forget that as soon as possible, it is so beneficial for you as cricketers. So something I hear loads from especially tennis players, but also I heard something from Pep Guardiola, and it was the best players in the world. They have to fail, they have to hurt, the failures have to hurt, but the best players, forget about it, move on, they learn, take all the information that they can from what they failed on, and they take it in to, for us, what would be the next ball.
Great players I met, and I was fortunate as a football player, especially manager, to handle some of them. They have this incredible ability to forget in instant. It's painful, yeah, has to be. But has to forget it as quick as possible. The tennis players, the golf players, the basketball players, when they miss, everyone miss, he miss. Okay, smile, positive, go for the next. And that defines the great players.
It's not a gift. It's something that comes with work.
You train for the mental side the way you would your serve or your forehand.
There are different techniques. Conscious breathing is a big part. I might appear maybe locked in, but trust me, there's a storm inside. And the biggest always battle is within. I don't like this kind of a mindset that I see a lot in sports, like just think positive thoughts, be optimistic. There is no room for failure. There is no room for doubts and stuff like this. It's impossible to do that. You are a human being. The difference, I guess, between the guys who are able to be biggest champions and the ones that are struggling to get to the highest level is the ability to not stay in those emotions for too long. So for me, it's really relatively short. So as soon as I experience it, I acknowledge it. I maybe, burst, I scream on the court, whatever happens. But then I'm able to bounce back and reset.
I heard Roger Federer and he said he loses half the points that he plays. Now, he's supposed to be the best in the world, but he just has to accept that that is going to happen.
You can work harder than you thought possible and still lose. I have many times. Tennis is brutal. For me, one of the biggest was the finals at Wimbledon in 2008, me versus Nadal. Some call it the greatest match of all time. Okay, all respect to Rafa, but I think it would have been way, way better if I had won. Some defeats hurt more than others. I knew I would never get another shot at 6 in a row. I lost Wimbledon, I lost my #1 ranking, and suddenly people said, he had a great run. Is this the changing of the guard? But I knew what I had to do. Keep working and keep competing. Second lesson, it's only a point. In tennis, perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches. Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? Only 54%. The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it.
Learning from the points he loses and then taking them into, for us, what would be the next ball. Win the next ball. That's something that Cricket Mentoring has told me loads, winning the next ball. You might have lost the one in the first ball of the over, but for the rest of the over, try and win the next ball. Okay, so a real life example of this from a couple of weeks ago. We had 2 T20s. I knew I was going to be opening in both of them. First game, knocked it around a bit, got 6 or 7, and then I got a short ball in the power play. I knew it had to go, so I tried to hit it, and I picked out the only man on the boundary. From that walk, from the pitch to the boundary, I assessed, was it the right shot? Yep, I was trying to hit it for 6. Did I execute it well enough? No, I probably just didn't get it where I quite wanted it to go and probably didn't get enough of it either. But supported my lads, a few of them had a good day out, 40s, 50, batted really well. We managed to win that first game. Went into the second innings, was opening again, and I just forgot about that first innings completely. I think if I hadn't, I would be worrying, oh, well, I'm not gonna play that shot again, but I played exactly how I would have. I actually hit a shot exactly like that, hit it over the fielder, so batted well, got 60 odd, won that game as well. So as you can see, the quicker you can forget about the first innings or the game before, it'll help you so much when you go into that next innings. You can't be thinking about what happened earlier or the week before. So hopefully me sharing that little bit does help you with your game. Now I get a few comments saying, I'm not scoring 50s every week. That is your answer. It is not gonna happen. I hope it does, but it's just unrealistic. I can't do it, you can't do it, Virat Kohli can't do it. It is just unrealistic. Cricket mentoring for any part of your cricket is so useful. There's a code down here at the bottom, 2 weeks free. What's the worst that can happen? Go check them out to improve your cricket.